Hello everyone, this is Transfer of Learning Part 2. So in this Part 2 we are going to see about theories. A theory is one which tells about how does the phenomena takes place. So it explains how the phenomena takes place, and here we have six theories which tries to describe how the transfer of learning takes place. The one is mental faculty theory, second theory of formal discipline, 3 theory of identical elements, 4 theory of generalization, 5 theory of transposition, and the last one is theory of ideals. So mental faculty theory, so it tells that the brain is divided into many parts, and each part is capable for one ability. Like what is in the image is it's parts of the brain. It's an image taken from Google and it's kept here. But what this theory says is this place may be for imagination, and another place may be for sensation, and yet another place may be for perception. Likewise, this mental faculty theory tells that there are different parts in the brain which is specifically for one purpose, like imagination, like sensation, and yet another place for perception, like that. And if you train in one part, all other part, that part also will be increased, and it enhances all other abilities also. Suppose if you provide training in imagination, sensation will be improved, perception will be improved, also imagination will be improved. Okay, like that they said. Let us see how this works. William James, in 1890, he has done an experiment. So let us move from row 2. So I remember an experiment. He has taken 8 days. In 8 days, what he did was he memorized 158 lines from Victor Hugo's Satire, so a poem. For that, he has taken 132 minutes to remember it, to recall it fully. After memorizing, he took 132 minutes in 8 days, spanning 8 days. Okay, then after this, then in next level, he is trained in the ability remembering. For that training, he has taken 38 days. In 38 days, he has memorized 798 lines from Milton's Paradise Lost. For that, he has taken 760 minutes spanning that 38 days. So now in the first level, remembering was done from Victor Hugo satire. Then in second level, he has given training to the remembering part of the brain. And now what should happen? Now, since it's got trained, the remembering part of the brain is got trained. Now, if you go for remembering, then you should remember very well. So that's what the mental faculty theory says. So in the third level, what it was, again another 150 lines, another 158 lines from Victor Hugo, he tried to remember. For that, he has taken 151 minutes. You see the first one, it is 132 minutes. And you see third one, it has actually increased. It means that if you provide training for that mental faculty, it has not improved. So, otherwise, the days has and the minutes has taken more, which means that training provided lesser ability. So actually, if the training improved means we should take only lesser amount of time, like 120 minutes, 100 minutes. But here, train has been increased. Therefore, if we provide training to the remembering part of the brain, the training does not improve the remembering part. Hence, this mental faculty theory did not accepted by psychologists. Now we shall move to another theory, the second one, theory of formal discipline. You know, discipline means, for a word there can be many meanings. Discipline, the one meaning is obey the rules. He is a disciplined boy or he is a disciplined girl. If you mean like that, it means that they obey the rules. The other meaning is it is a field of study. Discipline means field of study. Okay. So for that we have social sciences, mathematics, languages, physical education, philosophy, etc. There could be number of disciplines. Well, for example, we have taken here 6 disciplines. Okay, same thing as like mental faculty, formal discipline also says that if you provide training in one part, say languages part, this also will improve, and across all other disciplines there will be improvement if you train in one part. So this is the same as like mental faculty. In mental faculty, they are telling about a part of the brain. If you are giving training, that part will be improved, and other parts will get improved. But here it is for subjects. Here it is for disciplines. Okay, right? Now let us see. Now, what is the answer for this? 2, 4, 6, 8, and you could imagine it will be 10 because it is increasing plus 2 from first to second, second to third, and third to fourth, etc. And what is this? The answer. A little bit difficult. The answer it is n cube minus 1. So 1 cube minus 1, 2 cube minus 1, 3 cube minus 1, 4 cube minus 1, and therefore it is 63. Okay. Now another question. How the coronavirus infects human? Here we have to answer biological from the field of biology. How the virus comes in, how it attaches with the human DNA, how it replicates, how does it causes damage, like that we have to speak. Suppose if we are training in reasonability from the first question, if the person gets training in reasonability, can he able to say about this? Can he able to answer about the third question? Certainly we cannot, because the training was provided in reasoning ability, but that person cannot extend his how this working of this biology of infection. Otherwise we have to get trained in this biology of infection and then we can answer this question. Okay, so if you go to the theory of formal, it says that if you are training in one subject, it also improves at a subject and also across all disciplines, but that factor is wrong. This will this you can see. So if you provide training in reasoning ability here, it won't improve the training in other disciplines like a question from biology. Therefore, we have to provide individual training in that specific subject discipline. Hence, this theory is also not accepted by psychologists. Then we move to the third one, theory of identical elements. So it is by psychologist Edward Lee Thorndike. And now I go back to the again reasoning ability 2, 4, 6, 8, and you know that. This also you know that the answer it is n cube minus 1. The next level it is like this: A, D, G, and J. The answer will be K, L, M. M will be the answer. How do we get this answer? And it is in between we have two gaps. The third one is coming. Okay. Then A, E, I, O, U will be the answer. Okay. Suppose if I am giving training in the first two level, and if I ask the third question, and also if I ask the fourth question, can we improve? We can improve because all belongs to reasoning ability. All the questions belongs to this may be in digital forms for numbers, digits. Sorry, it's not digital. It's numbers, digits. So this is for digits and this is for alphabets. Whether it's a digits or alphabets, only thing, the intercorrelation between all the four questions is the reasoning ability or the arithmetical ability. Okay. So if you training in the questions like 1, 2, etc., they also will be in a position to answer the questions like third and fourth. Okay. Therefore, there is a identical elements, mathematical ability, arithmetical ability from among the questions 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So in 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, there are identical elements, calculation, arithmetical ability. Hence, the transfer takes place. So that is what this theory says. This is the example. And the theory is this. So it is by Edward Lee Thorndike and another person is Woodworth. And they are saying if there are identical elements between situation 1 and 2, and therefore the positive transfer takes place. So this is mental process which have same cell action in the brain as the physical correlate. Hence the positive transfer takes place. The same experiment. Common elements in two or more situations will be favoring for positive transfer. Okay. The amount of transfer is directly proportional to the number of identical elements. If the number of identical elements is more, then the transfer will be more. The fourth theory is a little bit this theory when considered to the first and second, the third theory is accepted by the psychologists because it specifically says this theory specifically explains how the transfer takes place, how the positive transfer takes place between the situation. If there are identical elements, the positive transfer takes place. For when you go to the fourth theory, theory of generalization, it is a little bit more than the theory of identical elements, and it is by Charles Judd, and he gives an example. Suppose, let us take the quality of punctuality. If you are punctual means we have to be punctual in all situations. Let us take situation 1 and situation 2. In situation 1 of taking a dinner, normally many people will be punctual. They will go little before that also. But if you take classes or any formal kind of thing, there will be delayed. Suppose a class means it will go 5 minutes or that much care if one gives to dinner, and then the class it will be different. Okay. Therefore, the quality of punctuality may not be the same for many people going for a dinner and going for a class. It will be different. Or else you can consider this example even for a class and a physical education class. Suppose you consider another situation, a normal theory class like physics, chemistry, or maths, and another class like physical education. In which class many people will turn in within the time. In physical education, normally the people will go early in time, but for a class, there may be little late also. Okay. So, therefore, if we say only there is an identical elements between two situations, then if it is for punctuality, then since it is differing for different situation, you cannot accept the theory. You cannot theory of identical elements alone cannot explain all these things. So therefore, Charles Judd explains the theory of generalization. So not simple elements alone will explain the transfer of learning between the learning situation. We need to summarize, we need to generalize from the first situation, which will eventually lead to the understanding of the next situation. Okay, therefore, he goes a little bit beyond identical elements. Also, he says that if the elements are isolated and if the elements are fragmented and this will be forgotten, all those elements have to be made into a form of generalization. That will be helpful for transfer. And his experiment, let us see. That experiment is called as dart throwing experiment, and dart is this one. So this one is called as dart. And this is, you can see these things normally it will be in the festival time where children, they are happily, even elders, they are happily participate in this and they will throw the dart to the target. Okay, so that's called a dart throwing experiment. And this is an the target is not in a, he has not kept in a normal thing. Let us see how. To the right side, when you keep a pencil in a tumbler, up to the surface of the pencil, you can up to the surface of the water, you can see the pencil directly. And after that, you do not see the original place. Pencil will be at somewhere else, same straight line only the pencil, but we look at as though it is in different place. This is due to refraction. Okay, now let us go to the experiment of Charles Jen. So what he did is he kept the target, dart throwing target underwater, at underwater, and he asked. There are two. He has taken two sections of sample. In one section, he has given, he has taught the laws of refraction. To another section, he didn't teach anything. Directly, it has been taken for the experiment. To the section A people refraction was taught, then they went to the experiment. To section B, refraction didn't taught, we didn't teach, and then it went on. The experiment was given to the B section also. Okay. Comparatively between A and B section, who will perform better? Who will throw the dart to the target very easily? Okay, here the image, I didn't keep dart, but I have kept fishing. So this fisherman, if you want to take the, if you want to take correctly the fish, he should not throw where he sees. He should throw in the real place, not the virtual place. Okay, if he understands refraction, then he will get the fish. Likewise, since A group, they have understood refraction, those people in the A section, they will do it better. Samples in the A section, they will do better because they know about virtual and real objects under the water. They will throw the dart correctly. So this says that it's not simple identical elements which favors for positive transfer. More than that, it is generalization of a concept. Okay, a little bit improved from the theory 3. And now we'll move on to the fifth one, theory of transposition. It is from the school of Gestalt psychologists. Gestalt, the word tells us it is full, it is whole. So Gestalt psycho always preferred, whenever we see generally as a whole thing, not as a part by part. Suppose if you pursue this picture on the right hand side, what do you look like? What does it look like? It looks like a face of a human. Even though individually, if you look at it, will be triangles, squares, triangles, semispherical. All those things are there, but we won't see it as part by part. We see it as fully, and therefore it looks like a human's face. So that's what Gestalt psychology says. Normally, we won't see part by part. If you in a situation, we will see it only fully, whole. Therefore, this theory says that it's little bit more than the identical elements. We saw generalization. Here, what is it? It's more than a generalization. We have to assume the situation fully. If you assume the situation fully, if you transpose from one learning situation to the another learning situation, then the transfer occurs. This is what's said by Gestalt psychologist. And then, so there are many ragas, and for one raga, we can sing any number of songs, having that one raga itself. How we can transpose this? If at all we understand that one raga thoroughly, then we can sing a song in this raga. We can sing also another song, second song in the same raga. We can also sing the third song in the same. The songs are different, but it is one in a particular raga, say Gayatri Raga. In Gayatri Raga, we can sing many songs. If you understand that Gayatri, and if you transpose between one song to another song, therefore it can be sung. So this is what the theory of transposition is. It means that we are fully transferring from learning situation 1 to learning situation 2. So just see the image. What did you understand? What comes to your mind? What this image tells you? Okay, if you're thinking like this, then you are correct. The answer could is like this. Suppose this is a task. These are tasks. Before doing the task, you see it as like a mountain. If you keep on start doing the task, the mountain decreases little by little. If you start doing the task, once you finish the task, once you complete the task, it appears as though it is very small. So this is what the connection one can get between these three figures. So there are three different figures, but there is a connection among these three figures. The connection is this: doing a task. Okay, which means that we are transferring fully transposition. We are doing fully from the figure 1 to figure 3 to 2 to figure 3. Okay, so this explains how does the transposition works. The last one is the theory of ideals. It is given by the psychologist Bagley. And here what he says is still more than the theory. It talks about our habit formation. It talks about our characteristics. So these things it talks. It's not merely identical elements. It's not merely a summarization. It's not merely a transposition from one learning situation to another. It is our habits. So it is our characteristics that gives for transfer of learning, a positive transfer. If we have one ideal, then it will be applies in all. Once adopted, it applies in all. Suppose a question before we ask in Charles the theory of generalization, he has taken punctuality. Punctuality in our wish situation and punctuality in a not wishful situations are all different. But once if you adopt punctuality as our characteristic, it will not differ. Whatever may be the situation, will be punctual to all situation. So if you adopt that as our ideal of our own behavior, our own characteristics. So punctuality, there are many ideals like that. Truth-seeking behavior. If we possess truth-seeking behavior, we will apply in whatever may be the situation. We will not accept whatever somebody says blind. We ask for proof, support, etc. Otherwise, we will try to find whether what somebody says is correct or not. Thirst for discovery, possessed by a scientist. They'll go for number of attempts to discover a new thing. And even for second attempt, third attempt, fourth attempt, fifth attempt, they won't stop till they get the desired results. That is how Thomas Alva Edison has tried for 1,000 times, more than 1,000 times, to get an electric bulb. So that is the spirit he has, thrust of discovery. Okay, so the last one it tells about the habit formation. So out of 6 theories, the last four are theory of identical elements, theory of generalization, theory of transposition, and theory of ideals. It explains fully how the transfer takes place. And if you this is a formal definition from Kolesnik. We have seen in part 1 the simple definition for transfer of learning, but if you look at it, this is a somewhat a broader definitions with jargons from psychology. Transfer is the application of carry over the knowledge, skills, habit, attitude, and other responses from the situation in which they are initially required to some other situation. So there's a relation between two learning situation, but you can see the words knowledge, that skills, habit, attitude. So it's like, so this is a more depth definitions for transfer of learning. So far we have understood there are six theories which has explained the phenomena of transfer of learning. Is there anything left among this one? We have four theories which rightly explain how the transfer takes place, and two theories also which could not able to explain transfer of learning. Is there something left out in transfer of learning? Yes, that something is negative transfer. All these theories explain only positive transfer. And what about the negative transfer? The learning situation one inhibits the learning situation of two. That is called negative transfer. A situation one does not help; it hinders the learning of the situation two. So that we call it as negative transfer, and that does happen because of habit interference. We are habituated to the learning one, and therefore to getting into habit two, we struggle. That's what I said in the negative transfer of learning. Whenever we are practiced with one type of bullet like Bajaj Boxer for 1 year or so, we are practiced to drive Bajaj Boxer. But one all of a sudden they take Bajaj Boxer from us, and if they give Hero Honda suddenly, then we will get habit interference to put the gears. We may end in wrong also. Instead of increasing the gears, we will decrease it. That may happen for quite some time. So that we call it as habit interference or functional fixedness. So there are two reasons, and both are similar. Because of functional fixedness only, the habit is getting interfered for the new habit to be formed. Okay, this explains the negative transfer and positive transfer by all the six theory, by all the six theories totally, but last four explains very well about the positive transfer, and this slide is for the negative transfer. What about zero transfer? How could we get it that is zero transfer? And zero transfer means if there is no identical elements, if there is no generalization, if there is no transposition, if there is no ideas, so that there will be no transfer. That's all. If there is identical elements, transfer will be there. If there is summarization, if there is generalization, transfer will be there. If not, no transfer. So that's what the zero transfer. So there is no a theory is not required to explain zero. If it explains positive transfer, if those things are not there, then the zero it will be of zero transfer. Okay, right. So we have explained positive, negative, and zero transfer. How does it takes place? And at last, educational implication. How this transfer of learning will be useful in our classroom situation. Implications for our classroom. So the students who possess identical elements with respect to one particular career, that career they can choose in as their profession for their life. So the characters identical to the a particular career. Suppose if one person is interested in calculating, they can go as a mathematician. They can go as an accountant. If one person is interested in acting, they can go as an actor in film industry, like that. So for syllabus formation, for grouping of subject, these identical elements is useful to group the subjects. An isolated one which is not at all related, that can be dropped. So whenever a teacher teaches, he or she can use positive transfer of learning in his class, in his or her class, and they can avoid the negative transfer happening in the class. And while teaching also, we should highlight the similarity in concept. How the sensation is related to perception, how the perception is related to attention, how it is related to consciousness. Likewise, we can tell the related concept. Then they can easily understand attention, sensation, perception, meaning formation, all those things they easily understand. So the fact is, There are three factors which is useful for positive transfer. They are intelligence, positive attitude, and meaningfulness. These are the three factors, and these are my preferences for this preparation. Thank you all. Have a good day. Thank you.